So, what is the state of AI in education right now? AI powered education is next. Casey and I have decided it is time to take a look at the state of AI in education since we've pretty much started all of this. Like, where are we at right now in 2026?
Mhm.
And I don't know where we at in the school year, about over half done, right?
Mhm.
Not much left. So, what are some of the changes we've seen? And we were just talking about how, we would search for articles. We would look for information on AI and we'd find maybe an article here or there when we first started. And now everything is flooded with AI. So that's a huge change. So, Casey, how does that play out in your school system?
Well, I think, we've had this conversation where it felt like the beginning was, what is AI? What are the different forms of artificial intelligence in education? And it's like very fact based, so much so like getting the information out there so everybody understands what we're working with. What are these tools and all of that? And then it shifted into, whoa, pump the brakes. Should we be doing this? Is it ethical? Wait, who owns this work? And all of those questions seem to be like the big push for the longest time. And I think that still is lingering of like a fear of, is AI taking over? Is it affecting our classrooms too much to where our students aren't learning? But now I think the combination of that, what is it to, is it okay to use, is now like evident in policy. We are seeing so many more, government agencies, the Department of Education, all of these kind of overseers now are publishing things online, telling us what to do and how to use it and what protocols we should follow. So I think we've definitely kind of bounced outside of that bubble of, is AI here to stay? For sure it
Right.
is.
Yeah.
But now it's about what sort of controls do we need to have on it so that, education is still safe, that, our educational tools in AI are still safe, and that people are still using critical thinking skills and all of that. So I kind of see it as, a natural evolution of anything in education is like, hey, what is this cool new thing? Hey, do I trust this new thing? And now, like, what's the expectation? What are the rules? And maybe even what are the laws?
Yeah. I think too, it's just like with any change, and again, those early pilot people, the early adapters, and then eventually people start coming along with you. It's like that's just change. It's like
Yeah.
anything that's changed. And I'm not really sure. Maybe the change somehow is larger and that has caused more fear. I don't know. But you're right, at least in higher education too. Now there's policies
Mhm.
in every department, policies and trying to figure out what the best policy is. And it is still a battle of making sure that you're critically thinking and it is really your work or you're, giving credit. I'm sure that's what you're facing too, but there's just no more question of using it or not using it. It's all now, at least in higher ed, it seems to me, based on policy. And then now, how can you even, capture it more for advantage as professors and that kind of thing as well. So
And I do think that advantage that you speak of is still prevalent in the high school area as well, is knowing which tools, which strategies, and which concepts, students should learn in high school to better prepare them for how the real world is interacting with AI. I think that is still something that's being talked about and discussed. And, education traditionally has been a little slower to adapt to technologies and to things like that, because at the end of the day it comes down to finances, right? Like, who's going to fund the training, who is going to fund the actual cost of programs if there is a cost, who is going to make sure that there's somebody watching for privacy, all of those things. It comes down to the financial burden. And I would hate to see, like, back in the day we had the conversations about like, outstate and metro division of like equity in internet access. Are we going to start to see that now with AI? Is AI, it once was, you and I would talk about it, how it's equitable. I mean, it was free for everybody. We all have equal access to it with the assumption that everybody had equal access to internet, right? And now I feel like we've kind of burst through that, and the internet question isn't even a question anymore. And I think most people have that access. But are we only getting, they say you get what you pay for in all regards.
Right.
So are we now going to start having the questions, not just about like the policies and the laws about how you use it and when you use it, but really about who? You know what I mean? Like, I think that'll be our next piece, is to say, what is truly free? What does that mean? And what does that look like? How does that affect rural communities, people living in poverty, versus, the schools and the states even that have the financial backing to buy
Mhm.
into programs that allow for a little bit more robust.
Yeah, the who, as you said, and then politically as well, like how
Mm-hmm.
is it being used?
Yeah.
You go to Anthropic and the suits against the government because of how the tool is being used. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of going along with what you're saying as well. So this is the state of AI right now in 2026 in our viewpoint, and we'll see where it goes as we continue this conversation. But it's definitely didn't go away, and it's now it's just
Nope.
growing and growing, and we're just going to be here talking about it as we continue. So thank you.
Thank you.